Thank you, thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
And how are you today?
Awesome.
What was that? Awesome. Yeah, I heard it now. Oh, very nice, very nice. Always great to be here. I begin with an affirmation. I am the unlimited possibility of spirit, enthusiastically moving forward in glorious expression of life. Let's take it in parts. I am the unlimited possibility of spirit.
I am the unlimited possibility of spirit.
Enthusiastically moving forward.
Enthusiastically moving forward.
In glorious expression of life.
In glorious expression of life.
Yes. The theme of it is enthusiasm this month, and it's a powerful word. En meaning in, theos meaning God, asm denoting practice or action. Enthusiasm, the action or practice of being in God. Enthusiasm, by the way, does not appear in the Bible. Did you know that? Interesting. But it is, I think because it's a Middle Eastern French, not Middle Eastern, Middle French word that came about in the 1600s. But it's all encompassed by the word zeal. And zeal is in both Old and New Testament. You may know that Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, delineated 12 spiritual powers or faculties of mind that is in your body consciousness and is unfolding, helping you to unfold, develop, and grow. And zeal and enthusiasm is one such faculty. Each faculty resides at a ganglionic nerve center in the body, and the faculty of zeal and enthusiasm resides here at the area of the medulla oblongata, the brain, the base of the brain. So, you know, the medulla controls functions like breathing, heart rate, digestion, all the autonomic functions of your body. And of course, it imparts dynamic energy to your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and other parts of your body, the nervous system. So the sensory nervous system, that is. So you get the picture then, that this is indeed a powerful faculty. Agree?
Yes.
All right. So it's there for you to unfold for the development of your whole being. When you speak about or you hear words like this, intensity, ardor, passion, vigor, eagerness, excitement, mania, manic, yes, mania, fire in your belly. When you think of the fire of the Holy Spirit, that inward fire that urges us onward in our pursuits, regardless of the mind cautioning you to wait a little bit or whatever. Zeal doesn't know to wait. It doesn't know. But that's why you have to temper it with wisdom. Remember, I told you that. Mr. Fillmore tells us that zeal and enthusiasm is the mighty force that incites the winds, the tides, the volcanoes, and it urges the planets in their course, and it spurs even the tiny little ant to greater exertion. It is indeed the affirmative impulse of the universe. It is behind all things, and its command to you is to go forward. Everyone possesses this faculty of zeal and enthusiasm in different degrees. Its power and intensity, as I say, must be tempered with wisdom. Otherwise, we come to that place where we say, I'm burnt out. Burnt out. Just, if you think of the electricity on the pole, you have to step down those amps when you bring that light in to this fixture, or else it would blow it to smithereens. So yes, that's the same way zeal must function in you. I want to share with you this quote that Halford Lucock in the December issue of Progress magazine, December 1992. He said that Eugene Ormandy dislocated his shoulder while directing the Philadelphia Orchestra. He said, I do not know what they were playing, but he was giving his all to it. And I have asked myself, sadly, did I ever dislocate anything, even a necktie? This is the intensity of that faculty of zeal, the intensity of expression. Think of how you move through life today. Is yours a life in which nothing is happening? Is yours a life without excitement? Or is something great happening in you? Think of the excitement and the enthusiasm that fills you when you meet or you enter into a new relationship. Huh? I see people looking at each other. That's good. When you start a new project, think of that enthusiasm that comes when you start a new project and the ideas just roll out one after the other. You can't wait to get it down and get to work on it. Think of the moments of ecstasy that you enjoy in prayer. What about the times when you are directed to spiritual growth, say? You begin to study. So much so that everything else that you have to do takes a backseat. If any of these examples have been your experience, then you have engaged this faculty of zeal. Another way zeal is awakened, and it doesn't look much like an awakening at all. I can't tell you that it is cool to be in that place at all. It is called divine discontent. It feels like your whole life is upside down and something is going to happen. You are on the brink of something, but you can't see it come. You can't put your finger on it. And you wait and you wait and you wait. And you wonder, what is happening to my life? If you are grounded in truth, you know there is life after this experience. That's what you'll say to yourself. There's life after this. This too shall pass. Have you been there? Life after this experience. A personal story. I worked at a job for 17 years. I was there on the ground floor and I grew with it, getting salary increases and discretionary increases over time. I loved my job. Everything was hunky-dory. I would roll out my ideas and all that stuff. And then it came to a day when I was leaving work at 8 o'clock, doing what's supposed to be done from 9 to 5. At 8 o'clock, I was still sitting there. I said, something's wrong. This job is slipping away. And so what I did was I wrote my affirmation down. I am in my right and perfect place. And I put it up on my computer so that every day I would look at it and see that I am in my right and perfect place and appreciate this job and thank God for giving it to me. And then, you see, I was studying truth at the time. I just started. I had prayer and meditation going on every day. And then I went down to Unity Village to take courses, continuing education courses. And I heard clearly, you are a minister of God. Okay? So now I have to be obedient. I have to obey. Okay? I went along with about 150 other people and I applied to ministerial school. And I didn't yet meet one of the requirements. But somehow I was one of the 50 called for interviews. So the day I went down for interviews, the ministerial students hasted a reception for the applicants. And someone stood at the door with a basket, dutifully allowing you to pick your affirmation before you entered the room. So I went and I picked my affirmation. What was it? You are in your right and perfect place. In that very moment, I knew I was stepping over a threshold. I was entering a new beginning. Friends, the discontent I felt was the Holy Spirit pushing me upward and onward. Go forward into your next greater experience. But I was digging my heels in, not a foot further. Let go and let God. You know, when the baby eaglet, when it's time for the baby eagle to fly, do you know what the mom does? She pushes it out of the nest. She makes it fall. And instinctively, it flies. While the father rests somewhere there outside, waiting that if the kid falls, he will catch it on his back. Do you know that phrase? Underneath are the everlasting arms of God. Don't be afraid to fly. Don't be afraid to go forward, because the everlasting arms of God are always there to catch you. Instead, affirm, I am one with the upward progressive movement of life, and the mark of success is upon me now. When you ask God for development of your faculty of zeal, don't forget, Don't forget to center yourself in wisdom, to bring balance to your life, because unbridled zeal will take you into avenues that you do not want to go. I think of the enthusiasm, this is what came when I was doing my lesson, the enthusiasm of our young people today in getting tattoos. They are not satisfied with a small tat. They want the overwhelming experience of being inked from head to toe. And they don't realize that they are blocking the pores of their body that has to get rid of 10 ounces of waste each week. And so therefore their unbridled enthusiasm begins to affect their kidneys, yeah, and some other things in their lymph nodes. So enthusiasm for this art form is not centered in wisdom. You don't need me to tell you this morning that the excesses of life do not lead to wholeness. Your parents already told you, didn't they? Yeah, they already told you that too much of a good thing is good for nothing. So I say to you this morning, center yourself in wisdom. Life is for living at peak performance. It is the gift of God to allow us to transform and perfect the soul. Friends, we are here to reflect the consciousness of the Christ that is within us. And we have the zeal to take us forward in the expression of that life. It's just like you always have to be renewing yourself. It's just like the producers in the marketplace. They put a product on the market, and when they want brand preference, what do? They put on a label, new, improved, fresh new scent. You get it all the time. The latest is gluten-free. Well, you are a producer yourself, and your capital is your mind. Your commodity is you, your life. You have to produce it. So you yourself must make an effort to prepare yourselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for God to use you. And so He will bring you into the degree of greatness that your consciousness is ready for at the time, because the end of that is genius. You have a lifetime to get there, but you got to begin somewhere. So I say to you, begin to practice. Begin your practice. Begin action. The mission of the Holy Spirit is that every person on the face of the earth becomes God conscious. Me and you. So we have to work. It stirs us to action. We have to work at it. I want to share one thing before I go. It's about the zealot. His name is Simon the Canaanite. He was one of the disciples of Jesus, and he represents this faculty. In fact, the Catholic tradition gives him a feast day on October 28th. So it's no wonder you're celebrating it in this month, enthusiasm in this month. But my point is, Simon the Zealot he belonged to a group of zealots who were against the Roman occupation of Judea, and he and his group encouraged other people to join them and forced the Roman rule out of Judea, and a whole lot of people died. It's not unlike the suicide bombers of today. But what I want you to hear is that Jesus called this guy to be one of his disciples. because he could see the zeal in him. And what he did was, after Simon became a disciple, the Holy Spirit took hold of that zeal and transformed it into service for God. And so Simon went and took the gospel of Jesus Christ to places like Egypt, Africa, parts of Africa, Persia. He even went to Britain. So I'm saying, what am I saying? That zeal that we have can be turned around for spiritual good. Mothers know this zeal. Every mother in here knows this zeal. And guys, you can learn. The seed is planted. The seed is planted, and it takes a while for that seed to grow. But after the first kick, everything picks up speed. And you know what? The physicians call that time the quickening. We are quickened sometimes by the Holy Spirit. And when we are quickened, you can't get enough to read about New Thought. You remember when you first came in here, you didn't want to leave, because this is where you heard what your soul wanted. You need to run with that, friends. You were quickened by the Holy Spirit to become aware, become awake to the truth, and to the truth as it is taught right here. I am blessing you this morning that you will develop this faculty of zeal and enthusiasm. So I am encouraging you right now to put your attention where? Yes, at the medulla oblongata, and affirm with me. I am the unlimited possibility of spirit. Together?
I am the unlimited possibility of spirit.
Centered in love. And guided by wisdom. I enthusiastically move forward. In glorious expression of life. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.